What's good, y'all? It's me, Chris, back here with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing Adele's weight loss and fat phobia. But before we get into that, if you like, you can follow me on my other social media platforms. Here's my Twitter and my Instagram. And while you are here, you can check out some of my recent videos that I posted. We've been having a really good time discussing insecure episodes, as well as I posted a video about why Oprah is asking my broke ass for money. So those are really fun to film. Y'all go ahead and please check those out. So I recorded this video yesterday. I edited it, even posted it up on YouTube, and I hated it so much that I had to take it down. And it sucks because I was recognizing at every single step that I did not feel comfortable posting this video, but I still went with it anyway because there's two folds that I'm feeling right now. One, a pressure to hurry up and get things out, to keep up with the times, to still stay relevant in YouTube's algorithm. And I never want to feel that pressure. And I know that that's part of it. I'm going to feel with the type of content that I talk about. It's always like trending, relevant topics, but I never want to feel pressured enough to put something out there just for it to be out there. I want to focus on the content. Very much so. So I recognized that yesterday and I just took it down, and I want to be able to expand on the conversation and give you guys a full fleshed out video. I'm sure that also another part of it is the fact that I'm having more subscribers, so I feel a lot of pressure to like be right, and I've never felt that before. I've always come to YouTube with just being prepared and wanting to be authentic and wanting to tell the truth. So I should make sure that I remind myself that. Y'all don't know that as well, but this is just me being vulnerable on the other side and saying, you know, like sometimes in this growing process you experience a lot of doubt, and I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure out what my style is and which manners I want to present myself to y'all. So just please bear with me on this YouTube journey. As I've stated in my very first video, that this is a growing, it's a journey, it's a trajectory. I'm not going to be perfect for y'all. I never will. That's not something that I present. I just want to present authenticity and the truth. And the truth is that video that I posted yesterday was not good. And so we are re-recording it today. So today's video, we're going to be talking about weight loss and fat phobia. I have not talked on this channel about fat phobia in quite a few months. I did a video talking about BEYONCE and Fatphobia with her Ivy Park apparel line. So y'all please check that out to get more context in which ways that fat phobia manifests itself into our society. Also, you know, I'm prefacing this conversation to say that we live in an anti-fat society. We live in a place where fat phobia is exhibited. We have a disdain for fat people, for fat bodies, anything that is outside of the societal norm as far as goes to weight. We have a disdain for that. So I just want to preference the conversation and put into context and where I'm coming from my aspect and from my vantage point. So we're going to be talking about Adele. So Adele, ever since she released her album, she's been generally pretty quiet on social media. You know, she got album of the year, she had a child, and in the past year or so she's been going through a divorce. So we have not seen that much of Adele. One could assume that she's dealing with her divorce, that she's raising her child, that she's trying to get a new album coming. You know, these girls, when they in silence, you know something is coming, where there's been some type of trauma, some type of tragedy, which is not even necessarily something I don't think we should be celebrating, getting an art from trauma, but something may be in the works. She's been really quiet lately, right? So we see her post sporadically on social media through a friend's party, taking a photo with a fan. And you can see throughout the past year or so that Adele has been losing weight, right? Like, it's not a shocker that Adele is appearing slimmer as of lately. But this recent photo that she posted just got everyone into a frenzy about bodies. So recently, Adele posted a photo of herself thanking everybody for her birthday love on Instagram. That's all she did. And the internet had diarrhea. There was shit everywhere discussing Adele's body. I believe that this photo created so much of a frenzy because this is the most drastic that we've seen her weight loss, and this is the most thin that we've seen her. And there was so much conversation about celebrating her weight loss are being very critical on the flip side and having a bunch of assumptions that she may be experiencing some type of eating disorder. Either way, before we get into this topic, I'm so sick of women and people who are in femme bodies being constantly up for critique. There is always so much to dissect and pull apart when we see women's bodies. You could think of that when talking about any celebrity, even more specifically as of lately Lizzo. The girl just exhales, and all of a sudden people have so much to say how she exists in her body. I wish people would just mind their business and pertain to their own bodies that they are in, and just wouldn't put so much importance in the way that our bodies show up. It's very unnecessary, and I wish we would stop talking about women's body. It's getting really weird. You might think to yourself, well, Christopher, you're talking about Adele's body now. Honestly, I don't care what she looks like. I really don't. This conversation is about y'all's responses. Now, when I say y'all, if this applies to you, cool, listen up. If this does not, you don't have anything to worry about. You can just nod in agreement, okay? So I want to talk about the responses to Adele's weight loss, and I want to be very nuanced with this. We're very much taught and conditioned to see weight loss as a good thing in our society. It's very much a social norm that when you see someone who has lost weight, the unconscious bias, the assumption is to assume that they're living healthier, happier lives. And with this conversation, I want us to dig deeper. I want us to figure out, like, where is that unconscious bias coming from to praise someone's weight loss without any context whatsoever? Because if Adele had gained 50 pounds, we would not be praising her. This conversation would not come from a place of love. This conversation would not be in a place of uplifting. We would not be talking about how healthy she is. We'd have so many assumptions that now, of course, there's always exceptions. There's people who have an awareness of what bodies are and what health really is. We're going to get into what health really is. But there's people for sure that will assume that she's living her best life if she gained weight. But the roaring majority of the population will assume that something is wrong. And I want us to unpack the intentions and the language that we use when we see thin bodies. A lot of people on one spectrum was, she glowed up, right? She looks so much better. Congrats on the weight loss. Why are you congratulating her on the weight loss when she literally didn't say anything? My first thought when I see somebody who has drastically lost weight in a short period of time is to say that, are you okay? And it's not to say that she's not okay, but having lived in a body that has lost 80 pounds, I know how much trauma that you could experience from a drastic weight loss, whether that be you losing it all on your own or taking surgery. It is a lot that goes in toll on your body. So my first question is to ask her, are you okay? How you doing, sis? And yes, this could be good for her, right? This could very well be intentional. This could very well be for her benefit. I would love to have a conversation even as how we view weight loss and why we view it as such a necessity as our society. That's a whole nother video. But in this manner, I just want to talk about people's responses to weight loss without any context. And this could be a good thing, but we don't know. No one's talked to Adele. Adele hasn't come out and said anything about this. I do know that through a source about a year ago, there was like a bizarre magazine interview that talked about that she wanted to live a better life for her son. But my thing is, like, what does that mean? Why does living a better life mean living a thinner life? Why can't we actually focus on all aspects of health? And why does thin always equate to being health, right? So we don't know. No one's here. No one's talked to her doctors. No one's talked to her physicians. Haven't seen her lab work. All I know is that she's skinny and she looks good. And not from a sake of that she looks good because she's skinny. She just looks good because she looks happy. That's all that I would have observed from this photo. So I want to dissect, where's this unconscious bias coming from to praising weight loss? Because there's so many factors that could contribute someone weight loss and it not being good, right? Eating disorders. You'd be very malnourished not eating the proper amount of food that you need for your body. There could be stress, right? Depression. There's so many, some people handle incidents very differently and don't eat and consume food. There's so many things that could be going on in which people are not healthy and losing weight. I want to expand on like what's healthy, because like I don't think y'all really care about healthy, because there's always so much conversation around fat people's health. What are they eating? What are they doing to work out? Like, we never think and concern thin or skinny people in the conversation of health. And fat phobia impacts skinny people too, because there's always an assumption that you're healthy and that you're doing things well. You go to the doctor, no one asks you what your diet is. I've been to the doctor many of times, even just recently last year. I remember I saw a new doctor. I'm 6'1". At the time I was weighing 260. We hadn't even done blood work. The only thing we done was typical blood pressure, weigh me on the scale, check my temperature. Temperature's great. My blood pressure is great. Only thing that my body is that it doesn't fit into the BMI. So you know what my doctor said was like, how's your diet? Do you plan on losing any weight? Like, how do you know what my health is when you haven't even done any blood work? You don't even know what's going on inside. And your first thought is, what about your weight though? My blood pressure and my body temperature was not a good indication of my health. Like, the way that people assume about your health, even in the medical field, is fatphobia. It impacts people from not being able to get the necessary care that you need. I have a story. Last year, my mom, she had an unfortunate traumatic event in which she had an obstructed bowel. It was sudden. After a few days of being in excruciating pain, she had to go to the ER, had an emergency surgery. She was in and out of the hospital for 6 to 7 weeks. They couldn't find what was wrong initially. They had to do so much testing. I think she had 2 surgeries in total. It was such a process. My mom was going through such a mental toll, especially it being so suddenly, and the fact that she, from all of this, had lost 35 pounds. My mom is a 5'4". She was weighing around like 160 at the time. She had lost 35 to 40 pounds in a matter of less than 2 months from not eating, from dealing with a traumatic situation. Thankfully, a year later, she is fully recovered, has gained a bit of her weight back, living a very healthy lifestyle, thankfully. But after my mom had went through this ordeal and she was maybe posting photos online, just talking to people in real life, and they didn't know what she was going on, there was so much congratulatory conversation with how she looked. Like, you look so good, Rose. You look so good, sis. And that blew my mind, because here I was visiting my mom every single day, contacting her, checking in on her. And honestly, that is the worst I've seen her as an adult. But let anybody else tell you, you snatched, sis. Girl, you looking good with those pounds dropped. Like, we have to be mindful in what type of implications we're implying when we tell somebody congratulations on their weight. There's an implication that you look healthier and that you're better off because you're skinny. That is fat phobia. Fat phobia is embedded into every aspect in the way we talk about our bodies and our food. Fat phobia isn't always so overt, right? It's not always, I hate fat people and I wish fat people would die. Just as every other systemic oppression, their harm can be inflicted in microaggressions, right? Somebody asking about my hair can be an anti-black comment, but it's not going to be to the level of somebody saying, I hate you, nigger, right? Now, we also can have a conversation, because me personally, I do believe that I'm starting to divest from microaggressions, from macroaggressions, because it's all violence and all harm and it's all bigotry and ignorance. But in terms of this conversation, I just want to make an example to say that, like, sometimes even through our intent, we can inflict harm on somebody, right? We could be essentially belittling somebody's existence at the expense of someone else's, right? So that's my example to say. I don't want to be like one of those people and say, oh, y'all think she's pretty now. No, people have been praising Adele's beauty. She's been on the cover of magazines. She's a gorgeous woman. It's all in the face. The woman has the face. But there's just this weird undertone that she's fully realized now that she's skinny, right? When Adele been banging, she been that one. I don't know. I would have, when I saw that picture, I would have just been like, happy birthday. Congrats, another year. I hope you're living well. We just got to be mindful of the implications in celebrating weight loss when we don't know if it's a good thing. Gaining weight is good for some people. Gaining weight is good for some people. I just want y'all to be mindful of that. I'm 6'1". I weigh about 240. I've weighed 220. I've weighed 300. And really, all those times that I'm really thinking about it and I've unpacked it for me, and this is kind of a conversation about weight loss and not people's reaction to weight loss, but I lost weight out of insecurity. My health was never in question. Every time I went to the doctor, aside from the doctors assuming, when you actually looked on paper, when you actually looked at my numbers, I was fine. I was healthy. Right? That's what I say as well before I wrap this up. We got to expand the conversation of what healthy is. We got to make sure that we're mentally healthy. We got to make sure that we're healthy in our mobility, right? That's what health is. Mobility, your flexibility, the way your body moves and functions, the way your body is connected to your brain. To me, that is health. It's not always an indication of the way you look. Celebrate her life. Celebrate her birthday. There's nothing wrong, but I really want us to examine why there's so much praise for thinner bodies. I really want us to examine why there's so much praise for thinner bodies in our current society. And I'll leave y'all on that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love to hear all your thoughts in the comments below. Please be respectful. Please, I will even link some research that I've read. Right now, I'm in the current process of reading a book about fatphobia. It's great that there's literature. I understand that fatphobia, the conversation as wide as it is really new right now in our current society. It's something that's always existed, so let me not play naive to what's going on. But as far as the the level of the conversation, it's very magnified right now, so it's going to be really new. This is going to make people uncomfortable. We're going to be challenging a lot of ideas and practices that we've fallen so easily into. So I want us to be mindful, approach this conversation with an open mind, get some critical thought in this, do a little bit of research, do some Googling. I promise you, like I said, like the video, comment below, please subscribe to the krisbeknowin family if you enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye.